Hello everyone, I'm Shadow's Rain and you are awesome, and today we are going to be looking through the Call of Duty franchise and making a tier list based off these games. So I'm going to base it on when the games came out and a little bit of what was around at the time those games came out, and also somewhat trying to compare them against each other as well. So a bit of a hybrid going on here, but if you do enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button below, and if you are new here, also please remember to hit that subscribe button and be part of the A1A. So we're going to start in chronological order pretty much. Now remember, you will have different opinions to what I do. Whatever they are, let me know what they are in the comment section below. So let's get right into it, because I already know I've got a few controversial ones. But remember, don't be offended. They're just opinions and we all have them. So we're going to start with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So the original OG, and this one is pretty much where it all started for me. This is where, we got introduced to multiplayer. So PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, I believe that one was called. I was on PlayStation at the time. So yeah, this one is going to be put in A tier. This is what really got the ball rolling. An absolutely incredible game. And I thought it was fantastic, if I'm being honest, because, it introduced a lot of stuff like perks, kill streaks, although basic. It had a decent story, not the best, obviously, but it was decent enough. Introducing characters like Gaz, Soap, Price, but Ghost, and yeah, well, it was Gaz at the time. So I really enjoyed this game, and it goes in at an A tier. Loved how it was just different to everything else I was playing at the time, like Medal of Honor. So yeah, that's going to get put in there. The next game on the list is going to be Call of Duty World at War. Now, Call of Duty World at War is going to get put in the A tier as well, though I didn't think it was as polished as Call of Duty 4. And the reason I say that is because at the time, you could clearly see that that Treyarch like, oh, we got to copy this. This is like super popular, and it kind of it didn't feel shoehorned in, because there was a few notable additions like Second Chance and Ground War, which was a really good mode. But at the same time, some of the guns and their balancing just lacked a little bit of polish, and I just feel as if the game was plucked straight out of their single player maps. Like the multiplayer maps. So yeah, but on that whole though, very good game, and it introduced Nazi zombies as well, which was absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed Nazi zombies from the first one up until Der Is. Super good, and I got all the map packs for it. Really exciting times. The next one that we have got on this list is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, this game did bring in a couple of problems. One-man army and the boom perk, or whatever it was called, that was a bit of a problem, because base danger close, that was it. So yeah, that was a massive problem. Models were a massive problem. Rafikas were a massive problem. Death streaks were a massive problem. Not a fan of death streaks, especially when you're on for a nuke. So yeah, it goes in a B. Absolutely loved the maps. The maps in this game were some of the best maps that have been in any Call of Duty game. But yeah, remember Rust was invented in this game too. But for me, it was a B tier. The maps were incredible. The maps put it up into A region, but the actual lack of balancing puts it in there. And I believe this was the first game where they actually hot patched a weapon, as in the fixed the models, which were just ridiculous. Because you could basically like one-shot anyone from miles away. So yeah, really glad that they got sorted out, and that kind of started a trend with Call of Duty games. So next we are going to move on to Black Ops. Now, I really enjoyed Black Ops. It had one of the best campaigns ever in a Call of Duty as far as I'm concerned, and the multiplayer, I thought it was a really good mix of basically unlocking stuff, but you had to use like actual money as well, which you could wager, and I really enjoyed that. The maps on this Call of Duty, especially when they brought the ones over from World of War, makes it the best maps in the game. You had Kino de Toten, I think it was, which was the theater, and then you had 5 awesome maps. You had Moon as well, brilliant. Ascension, and Ascension, Moon, 5, that one. There was another one in there as well, wasn't it? No, was it Night Call of the Dead, Night of the Dead, the Romero one? I believe that one was in there as well. Amazing, absolutely amazing game. The next one that we have got on the list is going to be Modern Warfare 3. And to be honest, the franchise did take a bit of a blip here. It wasn't particularly a fun time. So that's going to go in the C tier. Majority of the studio left and formed Respawn Entertainment, which obviously went on to create Titanfall and Apex Legends. But that's a story for another time. The game had issues, and it showed that the guns just felt a bit flatter. I didn't really feel as if it was a massive graphical improvement compared to the last one, but it did wrap up the Modern Warfare story, which was nice. But at the same time, it had flaws. It felt like a copy paste of Modern Warfare 2, though it did introduce some interesting maps like Favela. So and the snow-based one, that was really cool. But yeah, that's where it lies for me. It's a C tier. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It wasn't great. Now the way I see these lists is that S is amazing, A is okay, like A is great, B is good, C is okay. Like I didn't not like it. I just felt as if it wasn't good as the other ones. So that's why I'm going to be putting it in the C tier. So yeah, I was playing a lot of other games like Assassin's Creed and it wasn't Killzone. Killzone was a bit old at that time. But yeah, other games are coming out around this time, and you know, it's just I'd rather be playing them than this, I'm afraid. The next game on the list is going to be Black Ops 2. I've got a lot of time for Black Ops 2. I believe, you know, it was a really good game. I think they made the innovations in the right place. You had a mixture of new weapons, old weapons, and the storyline was actually quite solid as well with Raul Mendez. So I really liked it. I liked how the story could go in different tangents as well. Also, the multiplayer was quite good. It was quite polished. It did have, obviously, a few little issues, but on the whole, really, really good. Introduced Diamond Camo, which was an absolute laugh. First thing I got was Diamond Camos. And worth to note as well, this was the last game that I played on console. It was when this game came out, I actually made the transition over to PC. So that was a really, really fun time. But yeah, so good. I bought it twice, and it's the only Call of Duty to date which I've actually bought twice. So there you go. That's where Black Ops 2 goes. Really good mode. The zombies was okay, to be fair. It wasn't bad. And yeah, just on the whole, it was solid. It was good. And compared to other games coming out around the time, it's a good pick. Also introduced League Play in that as well, which is a fantastic alternative to skill-based matchmaking. And I love the SMR. Fantastic, fantastic weapon. So yeah, just bear that one in mind when you come to judge it. So next game on the list, where is it? It is Ghosts. Now, Ghosts, I'm going to put in straight at a D tier. Now, I do believe that other things were influencing this decision. So, for example, we've got the likes of the fact it was created on a new console generation, which a lot of games at the time did struggle with, making that transition, cross-platform kind of thing. Not in terms of playing multiplayer with each other, but it was that game that came out when the console PS4 came out, Xbox... What do you call the new Xbox? I don't know what they have. I don't know what the current Xbox is. But yeah, Xbox One. So it was around about that time. So yeah, it had problems. The maps were too big as well. If the maps had like big ground war settings to them, I think the Ghosts would have been a very, very good shout. But the story was a bit weird. The graphics and the aesthetic of the game was a bit drab. The guns felt a bit cartoony. The only thing that I really liked about this game would have definitely been the extinction mode. That was a really good mode. That was a really good addition. Without that, this would be the worst game in the franchise, I reckon. But there is one or maybe two worse than this. But yeah, so for me, it's a D tier game. It was promised to be all this. Everyone was really excited about it. I remember the hype going into this game, and it just fell flat. It just felt really flat. So yeah, the next game on the list, we are going to go Black Ops 3. Now, Black Ops 3, I feel as if it was in a similar tier to Modern Warfare 2, just had less problems. So it came out, it made the addition of specialists, which was okay. Actually, no, it wasn't Advanced Warfare that came out next. We'll put Black Ops 3 in this list anyway. It's in here now, so we'll talk about it. So Black Ops 3 was a good game. It still kept the movement system of Advanced Warfare before it. which was around the time Titanfall came out. It was a good game. I really enjoyed it, but for me, it was good, and that was it. It wasn't like great. It wasn't average. I really enjoyed playing the game, but I felt as if it made a couple of additions. The story mode was a little bit weird in the fact that it was all technically a dream in a way, which was a bit strange. Next up as well was to consider that the zombies. I didn't like the zombies in that one. A lot of people really enjoyed the Nuketown zombies. A lot of people really like the big map for zombies and stuff, but it wasn't for me. But like I said, I can understand why a lot of people did like this one. But for me, it was good. It was above average, but it just lacked that polish and finesse that the games above it seem to have had. So we'll go back one now. We'll go to Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was the game that followed Titanfall, which brought in the advanced movement system, the fluency of movement, and it was meant to feel really smooth, really slick, but it fell flat on its face, and it felt flat on its face as well. This goes straight in as D tier. I think this is the worst COD game made, in my opinion. It introduced loot boxes, gun variants. This started a trend which lasted for a good few years, about half a decade, if not longer, of just loot boxes in COD games, and it was an awful trend. And to make it worse, a lot of games started copying this model as well, and this was not a good place to be. So yeah, and it ran like crap on PC as well. By that I mean it just wouldn't. By the time it took a game to load, now bear in mind I'm running it off an SSD at this time, which is what new console people seem to think is new. Lol, welcome to 2010. But jokes. But for me, when I'm running it on a really fast computer and it's got no excuse to be running slow, for it to be taken up to 3 minutes to load into a game, and by that time a lot of the games are already halfway through or nearly finished, constant stability issues. Story was okay, but that's about it. I think, to be honest, Alec Rickman, that's not his name. Oh, I forgot his name. The House of Cards guy, fantastic villain, and that's probably the only thing that's keeping this from going in unmarked, actually, and that's the only saving factor of this game. Otherwise, horrible game. Next, we have got where is it? Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare was an interesting one. A lot of people said that this was a bad game. I actually don't think it was a bad game. I just feel as if it was overshadowed by the fact that people were bored of advanced movement. Bear in mind, at this point we've had Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3. I just really didn't feel this game was fantastic. However, I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people were making it sound. Now, it did get bundled with Call of Duty 4 Remake, not the remaster, and that was probably the saving grace for it. I think more people played that than Infinite Warfare, but when you consider the fact that the game also, I don't know, it was quite smooth. It had loads of different settings as well. The campaign was actually really solid. I really like the game. It deserves a bit more praise than what it got, but we all remember that trailer that came out where it just got massively downvoted, downliked, so that was quite funny. I did actually enjoy that in a weird sadistic way, but at the same time, it wasn't actually a bad game. It just wasn't what the community wanted at the time, so that goes in there. If that came out around about the time Advanced Warfare came out, like if the two games were reversed, I reckon Infinite Warfare would have been a much better game. People would have enjoyed it, and I would have played it more, and probably would have made it, maybe knocked it up a notch. But compared to the other games at the time, absolutely not. But yeah, we'll take that from what it is. If you don't like that one, let me know why in the comments section below. Douchebag move for Infinity Ward to put that bundled with COD. You had to buy that game, but before you could get the COD 4 remaster, which was a bit crap in my opinion. Almost as if they knew, which is why I'm adamant that Modern Warfare 2 Remake will happen. Remake will happen when another COD game comes out, which is due to be awful and they're not expecting to be well received. I think that's when it's going to happen. I think they're holding on to that. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a reboot Modern Warfare 2. But yep, now we have got Call of Duty World War II. I was really excited for this game coming out. Remember, this is the first game in 3 years without the advanced movement mechanics. which is really fun, really cool. But for me, it had an interesting campaign, a different campaign, and you do have to innovate to change. You know, you do have to innovate to find out what works and what doesn't. This game felt like a bit of an experiment, much like Advanced Warfare. It came out bugged, and much like Modern Warfare 2, it had a lot of broken stuff in it. But it did eventually get fixed and patched out. But the only thing with this game is that there was just better things coming out round about that time, and for me, it was okay. If I had to do it based on the actual finished version of the game, which came out, you could argue was February, Marchish, then it would probably be up there. But based on when it came out and how long it had to fix itself and how long it needed, I really enjoyed the fact that you looked for lobbies inside like a mini lobby, which was quite cool. But again, it just abused the loot box mechanics, which wasn't very professional at all. Didn't appreciate that. Next is Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4, I'm going to be putting in B tier. The only reason I'm putting it in B tier, I would say was, yeah, I think that's about fair for it. This game would probably be C tier, but had it not had Blackout, the Battle Royale map, it would have been probably a C tier. Blackout pretty much made this game decent. Again, not fantastic, but it made the game decent. It didn't have a story mode for the first COD game in this entire list, which was not fun. But, you know, like I say, sometimes you got to innovate, and clearly they put all their eggs in that basket of the Battle Royale than they did the single player campaign, which is a shame because I really would have liked to see it in a campaign. The Treyarch campaigns do tend to be really good. They tend to have really good writing. Avenged Sevenfold team usually seem to do the music covers for it as well, which is always awesome. It was the first band I saw live, but yeah, for me it was good, but it wasn't great. It was better than average. Not fun. Didn't like the specialist mechanics at all. Wasn't really a massive fan of that, but I still think it was more of a game than the ones below it, so I think it would be unfair to put it in C tier. Now, Modern Warfare, the reboot. Now, a lot of people really hate on this game, and I completely understand why. Skill-based matchmaking is a bit of a biatch, but at the same time, it's introduced stuff like the Gunsmith. It's introduced Warzone, where you can actually take your loadouts into a game. It's introduced a fantastic reboot of the single-player campaign. So I really think that these things are really good for the actual game itself. And let's be honest, it got rid of loot boxes. It stopped the loot box cancer, and now you can buy what you want directly. Albeit it is expensive, but it gives you the option nonetheless. The season pass was really good as it lets you get all the guns you need either through challenges or through the battle pass. Now, of course, you could rank up the battle pass quicker if you had bought tier skips, and likewise the challenges to unlock the other weapons like the Bruin, that would be a lot easier if you had bought the multiplayer version of the game, because obviously the Modern Warfare Warzone was free, so it was kind of pay to win in a sense, in terms of getting the good guns, and it took them forever to basically nerf the Bruin. But just so happens the week after they bring out the Finn, which is just as lethal. So yeah, it was a little bit pay to win in that regard, but it was a really good game. It had a massive audience. It resurrected the A1A, which started, believe it or not, in Cold War. Sorry, not in Cold War, at World at War. And I think that's where it belongs. It belongs in the S tier. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with that, and it'll be entirely because of skill-based matchmaking, and people who are at your level are camping like bitches with cannons. Bitches love cannons. That seems to be a meme amongst the tier list videos that I do. But yeah, I enjoyed stuff like SOCOM rounds, ammo conversions, all that stuff's never really been seen before outside of wildcards. So yeah, it just has to be an S tier. Has its flaws, but you've got to bear in mind this game killed Apex Legends. It took a massive slice of the Fortnite pie. Hyperscape was meant to be the next big thing. It killed that before it basically was released. And just in general, it's a really good polished game which has had the full 3-year development cycle in it. So yeah, that's pretty much my tier list video, everybody. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comment section below. And remember, this is an opinion piece, so you are going to disagree with some of the stuff, and that's absolutely fine. Let me know what they are in the comment section below. Remember, if you are new here, please consider subscribing. We do this kind of stuff quite regularly, to be fair. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Do you agree with the list? Let us know, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Peace.